Hello and welcome back to the second video of this project. If you haven't watched the first one, please use the playlist to go back to that one because you might not understand a thing that I'm talking about in this one if you haven't watched the previous one. In this video we're going to explain the basic idea and logic that makes it possible for you to tap a button on your phone and turn on any home appliance you want to make it smart. This is the basic idea behind everything that runs AutoHome. As mentioned before, I wanted to make my home automation project that doesn't depend on online services. But at the same time, I didn't want to overdo it and create everything myself. So don't be surprised when you see me use small online services that I rely on to make my life easier. And if these services go down, we have a backup plan so we can be completely independent of online services. In AutoHome, we use two main online services called IFTTT and Adafruit.io. These two online services help us connect everything together and frankly makes our lives easier. We'll talk more about why I use these two specific services later in this video. What pushed me into making this project was my desire to warm up or cool down my bedroom when I'm out of the house, so that when I go back home, my bedroom is all warmed up and ready for me to go to bed. In order to connect my normal air conditioning unit to my phone, I needed a computer in the middle that can handle communicating with my phone and communicating with the air conditioner as well. And so I got a Raspberry Pi to do that for me. Strangely enough, the Raspberry Pi was amazing at doing this job, but the problem is that the Raspberry Pi cannot handle 220 volt electricity. You see, all of these pins either give out or receive 3.3 volts, and only two of those pins always give out 5 volts. So I needed to control something that can handle 220 volts too. So I needed a relay that can communicate with the Pi via 3.3 volt current and can also handle 220 volts. So I got this 4-channel relay. This essentially means that I can control 4 different devices using the same board. And every single device can draw as much as 10 amps each, which is quite good for my needs. Now, connecting everything together and wiring things up was easy, and frankly turning them on and off was easy too. You just create a simple script on the Raspberry Pi that handles everything that's Raspberry Pi related, and it'll do the job for you. But connecting all of this relay and Raspberry Pi closed system to your phone, that's where the problem is. This is where the more complicated part is. Let's talk a bit about networking and how the internet works. In order for two devices to talk to each other, maybe via the same Wi-Fi connection or using internet, one device has to know the other's IP address. In other words, the second device needs to have an IP address that doesn't change at all. We call it a static IP address. Now, we can't guarantee the phone to have an IP address that's static because the phone might be either connected to Wi-Fi or mobile data. So we ruled out the phone from having a static IP address. The Raspberry Pi, on the other hand, is always at our home. It's always connected to our Wi-Fi. So now it all depends on whether or not your ISP or the internet provider gives you a real static IP on your router. Now, I checked my own ISP and my ISP doesn't give me a real IP address to my router. So I needed a middleman so that my phone can communicate with this middleman and the Raspberry Pi can do that too. This middleman is called Adafruit.io. So whenever I want to tell my Pi to turn the AC on, I can just press a button on my phone and that phone can send this button pressing event to Adafruit.io, which broadcasts it to everybody that's listening. The Raspberry Pi picks this signal up and turns relay 1 on. I also wanted to run voice commands, and that's why I used IFTTT that integrates with Google Assistant and simulates this button press on my phone. Now, we've explained how everything works, but we haven't applied anything yet, and we didn't dive deep into how we wired things up, nor did we dive deep into the code that runs on the Raspberry Pi. The next episode will explain in detail how you can physically connect the Raspberry Pi to the relay and the relay to a home appliance of your choice. So to keep up with these videos, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification whenever I post a new video.